to see you. How are you doing?
Oh, Mrs. Angel, it's always a pleasure to see you as well. I'm amazing. I'm feeling great. How are you?
Oh, living the dream. I do believe I sent you a little snippet over the weekend letting you know that Brisbane was named as one of the best places in the entire world. Just probably should have clarified that a bit earlier, just so that everyone listening from all around the world just knows Brisbane is the only Australian city in Time magazine's annual list of the world's greatest places. And I'm just looking here, there was only one Australian city actually mentioned here. I'm still scrolling to try to find Melbourne, but it just doesn't seem to be there, Mr. White.
World's greatest places.
Correct.
Is
yes,
it
I didn't stutter.
To visit?
I don't know. It just said that Brisbane's inclusion in the list will boost tourism for the city, which is always a good thing. Obviously, leading up to the 2032 Olympics, I reckon that there's probably a bit of a spotlight on this beautiful, beautiful river city.
You guys haven't had the Olympics yet, have you? That's right. We got there last century.
Anyway, I think we're running out of time to talk about that.
That's great. That's a great achievement. And having lived in Brisbane for 4 years, great place to be. Wonderful place.
Beautiful. And I want to say a big thank you to our sponsor, Video Pro, for our visual and audio work. You are looking spectacular today, all lit up. What's been going on for you at work?
Well, the last few weeks we've had parent-teacher interviews, which have been fantastic. So we run it over 2 nights and we do it all online. We stop teaching at midday and then we start them at 2 and we go till 8 at night. We do that twice over 2 days in 2 weeks. And every year I get a bit nervous about them, despite the fact I've probably done millions of them. But there's always a little bit of sort of nerves, I suppose. And then you get into it and you really do enjoy them. Like I got to the point where I really enjoy them. After the interviews, every single time I do them, there is a buzz. You feel really good because you're talking to people, obviously, who have a vested interest in the outcomes of their children, and so do you. And so you're really working to either pat them on the back and tell them, this is great, this is how we can continue going in this upward direction, or ways to better support their learning and what I could do in the class and what they could do at home. So I always end with a nice warm buzz. It's great, and it's long and grueling, and you're knackered at the end of it because it's 6 hours of wall to wall.
Sorry, can we just pause? We do have international listeners. Did you want to give a definition for knackered?
Knackered is an Australian colloquialism, I suppose. It means very, very tired. Very tired. That's for you, Miguel, in Spanish.
Hola.
Hola. Hola. Yeah, so parent-teacher interviews, they're great. And they are different now because they're online. And prior to COVID, they were always face-to-face. Quite like them online. You can sort of zip through them pretty quickly. You don't get the same face-to-face sort of thing. But by the same token, you can just tell people to leave and press click exit.
Kind of like at the end of this podcast.
That'll do. I can just turn you off. Bang. Out. No, so parent teachers are great. They're really good. They do cause a few nerves leading up to a little bit of anxiety, but by the end of them, they're great. How do you do them at your school, Shaz?
We do. We do things very differently at my school. We do an individual learning plan meeting with every parent. So every one of our students is on an individual learning plan. So they come in for a half an hour a meeting with the student, and we put together what the learning plan will be for the student. So all of those different things that we're going to do for each individual student. And so all of the adjustments we're going to make for that particular student to make sure that they're successful. So we meet with them in term 1, and then we do a review of that in term 3. And so actually one of our spiraling upwards questions is, what is one tradition that exists in your school or local community that you are most grateful for.
Mm.
So a cool thing that we do at Mastery Schools Australia is that when we're not in the terms, when we are not doing our individual learning plans or reviews, we actually invite our parents to come in, and we teach them. So we teach them like they are a student, and we use all science of learning practices. So they sit in on lessons and have a student experience where we do a lot of verbal rehearsal, and they sit in on a direct instruction or an explicit instruction lesson, so that they get a true understanding of what it is like for their student when they are at school with us.
How great is that? Because I really do think that the parents don't really know what we do in the classroom. And even the material that we cover. Like, I'm a geography teacher and geography teacher. And then I'm talking to parents about what we've got coming up in the next semester or next term. And they always sound gobsmacked. And they go, oh, back in my day, geography was just capital cities and countries. No, it's so much more than that. And that's just the material that we cover.
Yeah.
I'm sure the process, the actual experience of sitting in a classroom has changed so much in the last 20, 30, 40 years that it's a completely different animal. And so to give them that insight, it's fantastic. What an opportunity for them and for you. And
it's just in exactly the same way that you were just talking about the parent-teacher interviews. Our amazing teachers are totally terrified before they do this for the first time, because they have a class full of parents who are sitting at their desk, albeit with a glass of wine or a beer, because, just everyone needs to loosen up a little bit.
Yes.
And our teachers are terrified before they are doing this teaching of the parents. But the feedback, we always do a debrief at the end with our parents, and it's so insightful what they have to say. And they have all said how it makes sense now, the change that they've seen in their students, or, at first I thought this and now I know, and now I understand, now I know how to have a better conversation with my child, and no wonder they're tired at the end of the day, and all of those things, which is great, and really great for celebrating the professionalism of our teachers, because our teachers work incredibly hard to create these inclusive learning environments, and using all of these science of learning practices, and being able to show off that not to the parents is actually a beautiful thing. A very, very terrifying thing though for our teachers on that very first occasion though.
Yes, I can understand that. Are there many detentions given out?
Well, we play the teacher-student game, actually, Mr. White. And
Right.
So in the teacher-student game, if the students are doing the right thing, and in this case, the parents are doing the right thing, they will get a student point. But if they are not doing the right thing, then the teacher gets the point. And at our school, we don't have mobile phones in our school at any stage. And we have, on many occasions, had a mobile phone ring or beep at some stage during these lessons. And I can assure you that teachers get points during that stage, because we don't have mobile phones in our learning environments at Mastery Schools Australia. So it's good fun though, and the parents have a whole lot of fun with it. There's always a naughty kid. There's one in every class, and always. There's definitely but it's good fun. Yes, you're right.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
I love it.
All right. So we're going to get into a magical moment very soon. So before we do, I just want to say a big hello to all of the teachers out there. Thank you so much for joining us from all around the world. This podcast is all about celebrating you and your profession, all of those people who are working in schools. This podcast is all about you and celebrating what we do with kids every day.
You bet.
All right, so let's hear from an amazing teacher, and what she has to say has been her magical moment for this year.
My name is Charlotte, and I'm a teacher in Southeast Queensland, Australia. My most magical moment of being a teacher would be seeing my attempts at cultivating a positive classroom culture come to fruition. While students recently in my class have been through a solid storming phase, they have come out the other side stronger and better than ever. My school has a wonderful positive behavioural acknowledgement system of sending positive postcards to students. So whilst handing out the postcards at the end of the day, we give 2 claps to each student as a class to congratulate them. This past week, the whole class supported other students who received postcards, particularly the ones who got more than one, by cheering and giving out high fives as they passed. Seeing so many smiles and actions of genuine support for other students was awesome.
I love it. How good's that?
Nice work, Charlotte.
Yes, well done.
So much easier said than done, isn't it? So you bring in this positive system, or you either bring in your own, or you engage in the schools, whatever is in place. But actually getting the kids to buy into it is a whole nother superpower. And what a fantastic sort of tangible bit of feedback. And often the feedback that we give is based on learning or a test score or a mark or something like that. But to get something back and tangible, and to actually, attach a feeling to it, and to say that, yes, you've done this, well done, on a level that is not necessarily academic based, it's more attitude based, or, whatever is being looked at, is a brilliant, brilliant thing. Absolutely. Do you, in Victoria, in Queensland, we talk about the essential skills of classroom management. Is that language that you use in Victoria?
Yeah, we do. Not that exact wording, but yeah, maintaining a positive and safe environment for learning is absolute. That's the sort of language that we use, and it is part of that. And not that we don't give feedback on things other than assessment. What I meant to say was that gives, there's so much pressure on that. And at the school I'm at a reasonably high performing school. The pressure from the parents to bring home an A or something high is so. It can be very detrimental to learning, can be very, very detrimental to positive learning experiences. And so it's great to see that that's really being pushed. And it's something I try and do in my classroom as well.
And it sounds like what Charlotte's created in there is, it's not just an acknowledgement for that student. She's also using that to kind of cue with parallel acknowledgement for other students. And they've gotten on board with that and are really celebrating their classmates, which sounds beautiful.
The sharing of that is beautiful. Yeah. Great stuff.
Well done, Charlotte.
Love it.
Yeah, good stuff. And so we want anybody who has a magical moment that they would like to share with us, please send it through to our email address, teacherschangelivespodcast@gmail.com, or you can also connect with us on any of our social media platforms on Facebook or Instagram to get involved in our show.
Yes.
So, Mr. White.
Yes.
It's that time. Here we go. Are you ready to share a wisecrack with us?
Can't wait.
All right, here we go.
What is Weekly Wisecracks? What do you got, Mr. White?
Well, this week, I have to go back a fair way for this one, but it is one that sticks out in my mind. Teaching year sevens. I think it might have been my first year teaching year sevens. Anyway, we're doing weekly spelling tests, which was the prescription. So we had to do weekly spelling tests, and the students sort of, after a couple of weeks, sort of said, can we do, we like these spelling tests, but can we do something a bit different? I go, well, back in my day, we sort of had spelling bees and that sort of thing. I said, well, what's that? So, well, you stand up in front of the class and you spell the words out so everyone can hear. And then one of the students said, were you good at spelling bees, Mr. White? I said, well, I did have a problem with that word, but more difficult words were challenging. Spelling bees.
Yeah. It's very good.
That's all right. It was met with crickets there, and I'm sure everyone at home got that, and it is now rolling on the floor. What do you say, ruffle?
Oh, they're ruffling all over the place. But you know what? You did say that they were grade sevens, and
yes,
what was it?
Yes.
Mr. John McDonald, his teaching tale last week or recently, did he say that grade sevens? No, grade eights got his jokes more. The grade sevens didn't quite get a sense of humour. So yeah, understandably, yeah, maybe you're just too far advanced for the grade seven.
I might have pitched that a little bit high. I might
a little bit too high.
For the year eights, maybe.
Yep, there you go. Good feedback. Good to know.
Good feedback for the wisecrack.
No worries at all. All right. Well, it's time for a teaching tale.
Let's do a teaching tale. Yes.
Let's do it. We've had somebody send in a video this week.
Ooh, brilliant.
So let's Let's do this.
Teaching tales. Dun, dun, dun.
All right, we have Mr. Steve Harrison, who is one of the Commonwealth Bank Teaching Fellows. He has actually sent in a video story of what he has, a story that he has had over his time, and I'm going to play it for us now.
So here's a teaching tale for you. Up until earlier this year, I used to run the aquaculture program at the Huon Valley Trade Training Centre in Tasmania. And we have about 30,000 litres worth of recirculating aquaculture systems where we grew about 300 kilos of Atlantic salmon in any one year. And we used to operate the system by actually allocating our Year 11, 12 and our Adult Certificate 2 students into actual real meaningful workplace sort of roles. So we had a fish health team that looked after all the diseases and water quality. We had a feed team that topped up the feeders and calculated feed conversion ratios and programmed feed rates. And we had our works operation team that would clean the filters and transfer fish and do any water exchanges and things like that. So actually sort of roles like would actually happen in the industry, sort of really purposeful learning. Of course, Muggins here had to come in every second day on the weekend and every second day in school holidays, but let's not go there. And then one year we had a year when we didn't get enough enrolments for the Certificate 2 program, and we only had our Year 9, 10 Certificate 1 program. And they were only with us for half a day a week, on Monday mornings. So what I actually had to do was I had to roster these Certificate 1 students on during the week to do those roles that the other students would normally have done. Now, let's just describe the cohort that we had in that Certificate 1 Year 9, 10 class. They were sort of variously described as being good with their hands, or your type of student, Steve, and they definitely did not fit into the cohort of what our senior management team referred to as the good kids. By corollary, anyone who wasn't a good kid was therefore a bad kid. But I digress. So, there was a fair mix of students who were pretty disengaged from most of their learning at school. And so I had to roster this group of lovable misfits on to undertake these really high-level tasks. And I remember one day, one student, we'll call him John. That's not his real name, but John turned up to do his routines, as we used to call them. He was supposedly rostered on with another student who hadn't turned up. So John came in. He said, "Steve, I'm here to do the routines." I said, "Yep, no worries." Handed him the key to the $1 Million Aquaculture Centre. Out he went. Now, John was the type of student who was suspended more often than he wasn't. And really had issues with schooling. So anyway, he's out the back there, $1 Million Aquaculture Centre, out there for half an hour, comes back and he says, "Yeah, I've topped up the feeders, feed rate looks good, the pH was down to 6.5, so I buffered it with 700 grams of bicarb, so it should be right for tomorrow. And all the filters are now cleaned. It looks like one of the filters will need to be replaced." And I said, "Excellent, John. Brilliant, thanks for all your effort." He gave me the key back and I said, "Right now, run off back over the road," because we were separate from the high school. "Run off back over the road and go get back to your class." And he went, "Oh, no, Steve. Don't tell anyone I was actually here because I'm wagging school today." So this young reprobate had actually caught the bus in from home to do his routines on a day that he'd chosen to wag school. And I'd sort of say that student would be very employable, and in fact he was. So that's just a little tale that I tell amongst others. So cheers, thanks for your time.
Thank you so much, Steve. That
Great work,
is,
Steve.
oh gosh. So isn't it funny? So this young, he says misfit. I don't know how do we define misfit for our international viewers, Mr. White?
I think it's pretty self-explanatory, isn't it? I don't know. Misfit, scallywag.
Yes, excellent. And Steve says, he was spent more time suspended than not. wagging the knot, and John
Still check the water. That's great.
he was not missing out on that. So it's just a perfect example, though, isn't it? That the classroom learning isn't the moment for some kids, but even if they're going to wag the whole school day, they're not going to miss out on the chance to actually do that thing that actually has grabbed their interest level.
That's right, or that they can find connection to. That's something that's linked to what they want to do or what they want to, do in the world. It's great, fantastic.
It is.
Yeah,
yes. Nice work. Thank
well
you so
done.
much, Steve. That's great. Thank you for sending that through, Steve Harrison. And I'd
Thanks,
be
Steve.
interested to know what John
What's he
is doing nowadays.
Yeah, I'd like to know.
He's probably working or running that multi-million-dollar facility nowadays. So good on you, John, as well. I'm sure you landed on your feet.
He comes in on his days off to run the place, I'm sure.
I'm sure he does. Hey, Mr. White, I forgot to ask you the answer to that spiraling upwards question.
Ah, yes. The tradition.
Yeah. So what's one tradition that exists in your school or local community that you are most grateful for?
Well, this is pretty cool. Maybe not most grateful, but it does stand out. Like at the end of every year, we have a valedictory night, which I'm sure most schools do, which is a great time to come together and celebrate the achievements and the milestone that is finishing school. So year 12s are all there. And what's really cool, the year 11s come as well. And towards the end of the ceremony, the year 11s stand up, turn around in their seats to face the year 12s who are sitting behind them, and they sing a song to them. And it's really, really cute. And it's that moment where you start seeing the tears, because these year 12s, remember a year before, they were standing there singing to these big year 12s, and now they're the ones in that seat. So it's really a really powerful moment. So gives me goosebumps every year, that one. Yeah, so that's a tradition that we do at my school that I really, really like.
And is it the school song, or what's the song that they sing?
No, they sing a version of what's that Irish well-wishing song? May the roads rise up to meet your feet. May the rains fall gently on your field.
Oh, beautiful.
Etc., etc. Yeah. I like adding to that, may the walk from the pub be downhill. But that's not the original one.
No, it's not no, I don't remember hearing that in the original lyrics.
No.
But ain't that the truth, right?
It's very
and in fact, I was listening back to last week's episode, or one of our previous episodes, and we were talking about a magical moment, and our magical moment, the person was teaching maths and they were an English teacher. And I asked you how you would feel about teaching maths, and you said you'd be okay with probability.
Yes.
And at that moment, that actually went over my head just momentarily. But upon listening back on that, I've now realized that Mr. White, he is all about the probability. On the weekends, he is looking at the odds. He is checking the race guide with all of his attention, and it is all about the maths. It is all about the maths on a weekend.
Yeah,
probability.
I like the ponies. I do. I like watching them, even if I'm not betting on them. I still like watching them. And
you do.
Yeah, so that's
good.
Actually did
nice
really
one.
well at probability.
Yeah. Yes, I don't doubt it for a second. Actually,
in fact, while our teacher was teaching us how pools work, how probability pools work. So, when you go and bet on a horse, the number of the price, the odds, is the pool divided by how many dollars are returning on that selection. And so the math teacher came along.
I didn't know that. No, I actually. So you've just educated me. Thank you. Yes.
All right. So armed with a videotape, because back in my day it was VCR, and he pulled in the TV on the little trolley, put it in, and started playing. And I had been to this race day, and I knew the results of every race, every single race. For those playing at home, it was Stakes Day, I think 1993 maybe, where Stephen King rode 6 winners. And I knew all the answers. So I bet on everything that won, and I made an absolute fortune. It was one of the greatest lessons of my life. Loved it.
There you go. And that was a maths lesson?
Maths lesson, yes. Mr.
Wonderful.
Augustus,
nice work.
Was teaching me. Yeah.
Oh, well played,
go.
sir. Well played. That's great. He still remembers that moment.
I do.
So that's a quality lesson right there.
It's dinner time.
Okay.
Oh, we've got an extra person on the podcast. That's wonderful.
He's the voice behind. What does he do? That's Monty.
Excellent.
Dinner time.
Excellent. Perfect. Well, we'll wrap up really soon then, Mr. White, because obviously you've got things to do.
It's a very professional outfit.
With a 5, 3, and 1, he doesn't look like he's 90 for no reason. All right, Mr. White, do you have a review for us?
Oh, I do. Review. This one is fantastic. This comes to us from Rachel 0503. Listening to Teachers Change Lives is the best part of my week. It's such an incredible and inspiring podcast. A must listen for everyone. Thank you very much, Rachel. That is brilliant, and that's what we want to hear. So there we go. There we go. As I usher my 3-year-old out.
And I can assure all of our listeners that Monty is not crying because of that review. Monty is crying because he's hungry and wants dinner and wants Dad in there momentarily eating his dinner. Video Pro, there is nothing that Video Pro can do to be able to eliminate the voice of a 3-year-old who wants to be heard.
I'm sorry.
You could find it.
Yes.
Well said.
Hey, Monty, can you say Diplodocus?
Shaz wants you to say, what's your favourite dinosaur?
T-Rex.
And do you know?
Oh, do you know what Diplodocus?
Dinosaurs.
Say Diplodocus.
Diplodocus.
There we go. All right. All right. So stay with us, Monty. Don't go anywhere. We're going to finish off now. We want our listeners to get involved. We want them to go on to our. We want them to come and watch any of our episodes. This is a disaster.
I'm sorry. Out you go.
Anyone, if you're missing this listening gold, what are you even doing with your life? You need to get on board. Please leave us at least a 5-star review. It doesn't go higher than 5 stars, so that's all you can possibly lead us.
Monty deserves it.
And tell us what your child's favourite dinosaur name is on any of our platforms.
Please.
All right. Mr. White, we're going to wait because everyone is now. There is now 3 children. There is 4 animals. There's 2 horses. I don't know. They must have race horses. It is an absolute circus at the White household. Excellent. All right. Goodbye, Mr. White, and all of your children.
Thank you.
Good. See you later.
See ya.
Have a good week,
Bye.
everyone.
Wave.
Bye.
Bye.